The Philadelphia 76ers are in a very rough spot, and they got to make big changes this offseason. And we're going to go over some potential moves that I think they can make. First, let's address the elephant in the room, a Ben Simmons trade. Simmons' ceiling is incredibly high. He's an elite defender, an elite playmaker, but his offensive game isn't really all there. The first idea, and my personal favorite, is a Ben Simmons and CJ McCollum swap. These players have two of the worst contracts in the league, and I think a change of scenery would help both teams and players tremendously. Let's start with CJ McCollum. CJ is an amazing offensive player. Defense, not so much. The Blazers had a historically bad defense this year, so they could really use an elite defender like Simmons. He's a borderline useless player on the offensive side of the ball because he has no jump shot whatsoever. Some of the best shooters in the league, like Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, have spent their entire careers in Portland, and I think their shooting coaches could do a good job of reworking Simmons' form and could mold him into a good offensive player. CJ McCollum this year put up 23.1 points, 4.7 assists, 3.9 rebounds. He shot 46% from the field and 40% from behind the three-point line. He's a decently efficient player, but his shot selection is very questionable. For example, during Game 5 of the Blazers vs Nuggets series, Damian Lillard scored 55 points, including a shot to send the game to overtime and a shot to send the game to double overtime. During double overtime, this man CJ was putting up miss after miss after miss, which effectively costed Portland the game, along with a couple of Robert Covington missed dunks. I realized he was trying to be the hero, but CJ, my man.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Ben Simmons, on the other hand, put up 15.9 points per game, 7.7 assists per game, and just over 8 rebounds per game, while also racking up 1.7 steals per game. He did this all while shooting 56% from the field, which is pretty efficient if you ask me. Simmons finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting and made All-NBA Defensive First Team. My final thoughts on this trade is that it would be a win-win deal and both players would get a highly needed fresh start. Here's trade number 2. TJ Warren and Malcolm Brogdon for Ben Simmons, Shake Milton, and 2 first-round picks. Now this trade works out for a number of reasons. First, the Indiana Pacers are basically forced to rebuild if they want to escape being mediocre, and what a better way to start a rebuild than with a young player and with some first-round picks. With Danny Green being an unrestricted free agent this summer, the 76ers are going to have to pick up a new small forward, and they would fill that role with TJ Warren. Obviously, if they get rid of Simmons, they would need a new guard, and Brogdon could be just that. Another part of this deal is Shake Milton. Shake is a great six-man in Philly, and he's shown flashes of being extremely clutch and even taking over some games by himself. But if I'm Philly, I think giving up Shake is worth it to get rid of Ben Simmons' contract. Malcolm Brogdon racked up 21.1 points per game, 5.9 assists per game, and 5.3 rebounds per game, while shooting 45% from the field and almost 39% from behind the arc. If Philly were to trade for him, he would help their spacing and allow Embiid to do more work down low. He's a pretty good scorer too, which is just what Philadelphia needs. The other player that Indiana would be sending over, TJ Warren, averaged 15.5 points per game, 1.5 assists per game, and 3.5 rebounds per game, while shooting 53% from the field. He can fill the 76ers hole at small forward, and is a great scorer, which he really showcased his ability to do so in the bubble last season. The Pacers will be receiving Ben Simmons, who we've already been over, and Shake Milton. Shake averaged 13 points per game, 3.1 assists per game, and 2.3 rebounds per game on decent efficiency, all while coming off the bench. This trade is great for both sides, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. So this third trade idea is one that I made up myself, and I kind of want to see what y'all think in the comments, but I think it's pretty good. Here we go. Kemba Walker, who has one of the worst contracts in the NBA, averaged 19.3 points, 4.9 assists, 4 rebounds on 42% from the field and 36% from three-point range, so not efficient at all. Philadelphia would be brave to take on his contract, but I think sending Ben Simmons to the Thunder is a good enough punishment for shooting 33% from the charity stripe in the playoffs. Oklahoma City will be receiving Ben Simmons and Gary Clark to help the salaries match up. I think this deal is a win-win for both sides, and I really think Kemba could revive his career in Philadelphia. If Philadelphia chooses not to move on from Ben Simmons, I think they should fire Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is not a good coach during the postseason. This man single-handedly has 5 of the top 10 largest blown leads during the last 2 postseasons, with the most recent one being a 26-point lead against the Atlanta Hawks during Game 5. That is completely unacceptable, and I believe he should be fired after watching Game 7. The man makes no second-half adjustments, and his rotations are downright terrible. Dwight Howard and Ben Simmons should almost never be on the floor together, let alone during a Game 7. If Doc Rivers were to be fired, that would mean the 76ers would have to start their search for a new head coach. I think some good candidates would be Rick Carlisle and Terry Stotts. Thank you everybody for watching. See y'all next time. DF3 out.